So what will phones look like in 2050? Well, there are so many possibilities that it's difficult to know where to start. We are going to have to make some assumptions about how the technology is going to develop over the next 30 years or so. Then we'll design some concepts that might just be possible. In our first concept, we have decided that voice control will be much more widespread. So the need for touch controls will be greatly diminished. This phone has no buttons or even a display of any kind. Uses voice control for all functions. Perhaps this will be possible through AI software running on the device, which can understand natural language and interact with the user in a very human-like way. This would also make it easier to use the phone for people who can not see or cannot hold the phone in their hands. The phone is able to display information around the edge of its body through AR technology. This could be done with holographic displays which project information into the space around the phone. The phone could have a solid-state camera that doesn't stick out, as well as a wireless charging pad on top. To power this device, we could miniaturize current battery technology or even find new ways of generating power. Maybe it could be powered by nuclear fusion or by the energy from our body heat, or perhaps this device won't even need batteries at all. Quantum computers are predicted to become commercially available in the next 10 years or so. And if they do, then they could provide us with a huge amount of processing power on these devices. Quantum computing can perform calculations much faster than traditional computers, which could lead to major advances in artificial intelligence. This could mean that phones will be able to perform much more complex tasks than they can today. Our second concept is designed to show what would happen if folding screen technology continued to develop at the same rate that it is now. The phone starts off as a normal smartphone, but then unfolds into a larger tablet-sized device. This would allow users to have the best of both worlds, a compact phone for when they are on the go, and a larger screen for when they are at home or in the office. The device could also fold inwards to make a smaller device for when it is not being used. This would make it easier to store, and would also make it less likely to get damaged. The display could also be made of flexible materials, such as plastic or metal. This would make it less likely to crack if it was dropped or knocked. The hinge could be designed to be very strong and durable. This would make it less likely to break over time. The most important thing is that the device would be easy to open and close. No one wants a phone that is difficult to use. This is a challenge that engineers would have to overcome if this type of phone were to become a reality. They would need to find a way to make the hinge as smooth and frictionless as possible. But how would a folding phone work? Well, there are many different types of hinges that could be used. One possibility would be to use a series of small motors to move the display up and down. This would allow the display to fold in a very precise way. Another possibility would be to use a flexible display that could bend without breaking. This would allow the phone to fold much more easily. Of course, there are many other possibilities, and engineers would have to experiment with different types of hinges to find the best one. We think that our third concept could be the ultimate evolution of the smartwatch. This would be a device that could be worn on the body in a variety of different ways, and which could display information in a holographic form. The device could be controlled with either voice commands or with gestures. The device could have a variety of different sensors that could collect data about the user's body, such as heart rate, muscle activity, and even brain activity. This data could then be used to provide feedback to the user, such as telling them how well they are exercising or how stressed they are. The device could also be used to control other devices in the smart home, such as lights, temperature controls, and security systems. This would make it a truly versatile and powerful tool. This device would be a major breakthrough in wearable technology, and would likely be the result of many years of research and development. However, it is not impossible to imagine that this type of device could become commercially available in the next 30 years. There are already companies working on developing holographic displays and other technologies that could make this type of device possible. Of course, there are also many challenges that need to be overcome. For example, the device would need to be very light and comfortable to wear. It would also need to have a long battery life and be resistant to damage. But these are not insurmountable challenges, and it is exciting to think what might be possible in the future. For our fourth concept, we thought it would be interesting to explore the idea of a neural interface device that would allow the user to interact with their phone using their mind. This device could be implanted in the brain or could be worn on the head like a headband. It could then read the signals from the brain and translate them into actions on the phone. This would allow the user to control their phone with their thoughts alone. This device would be a major breakthrough in technology and would likely be the result of many years of research and development. However, it is not impossible to imagine that this type of device could become commercially available in the next 30 years. There are already companies working on developing brain-machine interfaces and other technologies that could make this type of device possible. Of course, there are also many challenges that need to be overcome. For example, the device would need to be very safe and reliable. It would also need to be comfortable to wear and easy to use. But these are not insurmountable challenges, and it is exciting to think what might be possible in the future. Now, while the neural interface device would be amazing, it does come with some risks. There is always the possibility that the device could malfunction and cause harm to the user. There is also the risk that the device could be hacked and used to control the user. These are serious concerns that need to be addressed if this type of technology is to ever become widespread. Our final concept is an augmented reality contact lens. This would be a lens that could be worn in the eye and would allow the user to interact with their environment in a digital world. The lens could display information in the user's field of vision and could also track the user's eye movements. This would allow the user to control their phone with their eyes alone. This device would be a major breakthrough in technology and would likely be the result of many years of research and development. However, it is not impossible to imagine that this type of device could become commercially available in the next 30 years. There are already companies working on developing augmented reality contact lenses and other technologies that could make this type of device possible. Of course, there are also many challenges that need to be overcome. For example, the lens would need to be very safe and comfortable to wear. It would also need to be durable and resistant to damage. But these are not insurmountable challenges, and it is exciting to think what might be possible in the future. The contact lens could also be used to display information from the phone directly into the user's field of vision. This could be useful for a variety of tasks, such as viewing photos or videos, or for interacting with apps. The lens could also track the user's eye movements, so that they could control their phone with their eyes alone. This would allow for a truly intuitive and natural way of interacting with technology. What do you think of the phones of the future? Which concept do you think is the most likely to become a reality? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave us a like. We'd appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe so you can stay updated with our latest videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.